Are we ready to get started, guys?
Mm-hmm.
We got some people coming in. If you want to give it a
ready to run. All right, welcome to our tea with the team. Everyone's got their tea. Let's get started. So today we have the three of us, the three admins are on the call. We've got me, I'm Lisa Brown, Marcus Silva, and also Sean Thompson, who just joined us. So welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody. We want to go through a few announcements. First of all, let me show you my hat for those who can't see or haven't seen it yet. I bought this hat from Marketplace. Actually, I bought it from Marcus's store. It's pretty cute, huh? It's a brimless hat. It's all the rage. And anyway, I thought I'd wear it. Since these guys always wear hats, I figured why not, right?
It's
definitely
really
styling
well for a while.
So I actually have a whole list of things I want to talk to you guys about really quick before we get into our tech tip, and then also our Q&A. And we have some people who actually wrote in questions also, so we can do those first and then go from there. All right. First things first, I want to congratulate Mr. Sean Thompson. He got a scholarship from Facebook on being able to do like some of the meta stuff in the back end. Are you there, Sean?
Yep, I'm here.
Tell us about your scholarship.
Well, what it is they're just going to pay for my testing fees for the blueprints. So as I go along, I won't have to pay the $100 or whatever it is for each test. They're going to cover that for me.
So by the time he's done, he's going to have an associate's degree in shops and everything on the whole. We're just super lucky to have such an amazing team. Don't dumb it down.
No, they call it associate, but it's not an associate degree. It just there's different levels, and then the final level is you can actually be you can do the Facebook development stuff. So that's the end goal. But I don't know. Got to pass the test, so I better study.
Yeah, well, we figure he's going to. We're not muting anybody today, so if you have any background noise or anything, just go ahead and mute yourself. We figured it'd probably be easier to do it that way. So if you have the mute button available, please feel free to use it. And then when it's your turn to talk, when we do our Q&As, there's a little hand button that you can use to raise your hand, and then we will call on you when we're ready, and you can unmute yourself at that time. But if you could all just self-mute, that would be super awesome. We did know that there was... Okay, perfect. We do know that there was an issue on some of the payments. Most of that's been resolved. If you have payments that are missing, of course, we're not Facebook, we are a support group, but we do know the magic form does work. When you go in and use the magic form, make sure that you continue to text or to email them back. Don't stop the email chain, keep it going, okay? We are seeing the magic forms taking a little bit longer to get things done, but that's just because there's an increased number of people that are using it that have found out about the magicness of it. So keep it going, keep it running. Our goal with our group is to be solution focused. So as we move forward and into the new year, we're going to make sure that the posts that are being posted are questions and solution focused. We don't want it to be a rant page where everybody just comes and complains. Sometimes it feels good to get it out, and that's okay every once in a while, but we're trying to avoid the what am I trying to say, guys?
Negativity.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid the negativity and really try and keep this as positive a platform as possible. It's real easy to dive into a downward spiral, and we really want to level up and keep ourselves positive on that note. Starting in January, the Tea with the Team We're going to continue doing this every Wednesday at noon, but it was going to go to a different platform, which will be our online sellers network. So what we've done is we have created the website and made it available. We have all of our frequently asked questions and everything that are on there. As a matter of fact, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. Let me get
I have it
there.
up too. Hey,
Oh,
how
you
about
have it up?
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, please do that. So if you could share the screen and just kind of walk everybody through the new website that we have. It's not 100% finished, but I wanted to put it up there for you guys, and also so that you could decide. We have a new group that we're forming that is called the Online Sellers Network. And basically to do that, you would just go to the member sign up form. Well, that was a loud car driving next to us. And what this is it's extra. It's what you're going to get that's a step above what you're going to get on any of the other groups. And you can scroll through that. We'll put the link in there for you. And then the webinars for Tea with the Team. If you just want to watch a webinar for a specific topic, you can purchase just one webinar to go on to. Tea with the Team, the last 3 weeks of January are going to be the paid webinar. And basically, it's going to be a 3-part series. And it's the first one is going to be about how to market yourself on Marketplace. And that's the one that I'm going to do on the 12th. And then on the 19th, Marcus is going to do transitioning from Marketplace to shops. And then on the 26th, Sean is going to talk about just shops. He's going to be all shops and each one is going to be for 1 hour. We put all that stuff on the website for you guys. So we hope that you want to come and join us. We expect it to be a really awesome platform. It's going to have calendars and different things that you can expect, like what to sell, where to sell things, how to make that happen. It's just going to be a little bit more involved and advanced than our regular group is right there. And then we have a couple of we have a tech tip. Are you going to do the tech tip today, Sean, or is Marcus going to do it?
Well, I just sent you that note. It wasn't really a tech tip. It was just something that I know people ask about. But if Marcus has got a tech tip ready to go, then by all means.
I will have you do it today, Sean, please.
I'm experiencing some tech issues on my side.
Marcus, just call it like it is. You got lazy and didn't get one ready. That's okay.
No, that
I'll
was
take
last
up the
week.
slack.
I was
Buddy.
ready this week.
Okay. The only thing that I've noticed, and some of y'all may know the answer to this already, but I had been asked a lot recently the difference between likes and follows, what each one is, why the numbers never line up to I've got X number of likes, I've got X number of follows. Likes, like if you run an ad or something like that for page likes, obviously that's a like. The post that you put out and everything, those are follows. Now where the difference really is, I've even got to reprogram it in my head here to get it right. If someone likes your page and everything, they're supporting your page, yada yada, they're going to see your stuff in their feed and everything. They can also follow you. Somebody can follow you without liking you. So I wish I'd made better notes. So in the whole scheme of things, followers are actually better than likes. Somebody can unlike your page and still follow it. That's why your followers, your numbers can be higher on your followers than on your likers, because they can unlike and still follow. Followers see more of your content than just the likers. Whenever I went to my personal page, not personal, the business page, I noticed that the majority of people that liked my page were from promotions, advertising, boosts, things like that, to where followers were more organic. So your follower count is really it's more of a reflection of what you're reaching with your own material that's not boosted or promoted or anything like that. That's really your number of what you're creating. If somebody likes your page off of an ad or something, then they have to go the additional step and follow also. A lot don't. Um, but if you're putting stuff out, I'm sure you guys notice on some posts and everything you see, it has the little blue follow. And so it's a one-step deal that all they do is click on the follow and they become a follower. Whereas if you run an ad or something, you don't have the option. You can go for engagement page likes, but they would have to go the extra step to become a follower. I know that probably doesn't make any sense. It does if you kind of uh, just think of it as your followers are more your organic reach, where the likes are more off of paid reach and paid promotion is basically what it is. Um, so your follower count, it's better to have the follower count is better than the likes. So don't be concerned if your follower count is 1,000 higher than your likes. That's actually how you want it, because that's your true metric of your organic thing is your followers, not the likes. That was it. If
Perfect.
that makes any sense.
Does anybody have any questions? I had to mute myself for a second because of my dog. I apologize for that. If you have any questions, put your hand, use the little hand emoji, or even raise your hand, so that we can call on you. So I feel really lucky to have two amazing admins and group experts and stuff on our team that helps you guys out every single day. And, you guys are phenomenal. And, as we work into this new year, we have some pretty awesome goals. And I just want those of you, everybody here, to know how much I appreciate you. And I appreciate the contribution you guys have made to this group and made it into something amazing. To me, we have grown this group. We're at almost 10,000 people. Now, that's a far cry from Sean's group, Sean's page. He's telling us about likes and follows and how that works. He has over 19,000 follows on just his business page alone, and he did that all this year. So we're so excited to be able to have the people that we have on our team. We have sought out people with experience and that just has a lot of inside them, that they know their stuff. Anyway, we're going to open things up to questions for anybody who has questions or comments.
And then we have some queued up too. So if Marilyn does.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
How will we get the link for the new website? I might have
I
missed
have
that.
posted it in the chat, and it's already live on the group website, or I'm sorry, on the group. So if you go to the About Us section in the main sellers group, then you can, it's marketplace-sellers.com. And so it's in the About Us section, which if you're on mobile, you actually have to click on the title of the group, and then it'll take you to it, and you'll start seeing it posted. It's the same website we were using, with the exception of about the Christmas time. It just went to a link tree. Now it just goes to an actual website. So not much has changed. We took it down while Lisa was working on it, and we put it back up.
Thank you.
Right. I
Yep, and it's in the
interrupted the
chat.
system. So much that someone actually posted about it and was like, it's not working. And I was like, I love that you're looking. Again, if you need this hat, you can go to Marcus's page and get it. I'm loving this hat, Marcus.
Good. Cool.
You like it, Alex? All right, we have a new group expert that we're bringing on. Just so everybody knows that we've added Alex Vega to the team. We haven't even announced it yet to our group experts, but we're excited to have him. You want to unmute yourself really quick, Alex? He's going to, we're assigning him a day. We haven't decided exactly what he's doing yet, but we're excited to have you as a group expert on our group, Alex.
Thanks. It's good to be here. I like what the community's doing. I was sharing with Marcus and Lisa a while back as I was courting and they were getting to know me and vice versa, that I love how both of them as administrators and of course the experts, as I'm getting to know you all, really show love to the community. I'm about teamwork, community, sharing is caring kind of thing. I love that kind of energy and intent, and that makes me feel great as a person, makes me feel safe as a professional, that I have a community where I can ask questions and learn some things. And so it was a good match, and I hope to add more value in 2022 with the expertise that I've gained over the years. So I'm happy to be a part of the team.
We know you will be. Thank you. All right, so we had a couple people who asked some questions. Oh, is there more people in the queue that have questions, Marcus?
Not right now.
Okay, if you do, put your hand up. Oh,
Yeah,
Thomas.
we have Tomas.
Is it Tomas or Thomas? Still
It's
haven't
Tomas.
decided. Okay, I had it right the first time. Go ahead.
All right. So yeah, Tomas Garcia. It's nice. Thanks for letting me join the team here. It
Of
was
course.
a blessing. I'm not a business owner, just an individual seller, just looking to get rid of some of the excess in our house. And I did have issue with receiving payment for one of the items that was delivered back in November. It seems like a lot of people had an issue that last week in November, early December with getting payments. So thank you for that Magic Form link.
Sure.
And so my question is I submitted this Magic Form and I've started getting emails, and I've at your suggestion, I've been responding to every single email that I get. Is there a point, and the question is there a point where I'll actually be responding to an actual person, or will it be a bot the entire time?
No, it won't be a bot. You might want to respond to them and say, can someone please give me a call? And it's just that every time you respond, you want to be kind and nice.
Right.
Marcus actually has a great way of doing it when he, goes back and forth. He just says, be kind and nice. Keep reiterating the same thing.
I did get a hold of it only took me 2 or 3 times until I got a hold of somebody that I felt it was either a really good bot, they're really good at responding to my specific questions, or it was an actual person. One of the things I try to do is I like to correlate it to either talking to a 5-year-old or talking to the CEO of a major corporation. Both of them, you have to be very specific and only ask one question. Otherwise, the remainder of your questions will get lost in whatever. But it can, as you fully understand, I'm sure, it can take some time.
Right.
I had a couple of missing payments, and it took, I don't know, 3 or 4 times back and forth, maybe even more than that. And then I had locked out of Facebook a couple of times, and it took one of the times getting locked out of Facebook, it took probably 5 or 6 emails back and forth. And I hit different, there's a couple of different ways too. There's a chat way that you can hit that is not, it doesn't go to the same department, but they'll see it and then they'll push, it tends to kick it into the right department. So that method comes and goes. Sometimes I can access it, sometimes I can't. I'll see if I can find it, but it's not really something that I spread out to everybody because I just don't know how well it works. I just can't stand behind it. But
maybe this is a bad question for you, Tomas, but how many emails have you gone back and forth so far?
since I've done the magic form, probably 4 times now, and I've been killing them with kindness and trying to keep it as short and specific as possible. I'm active duty Navy, and
Thank you.
I talk frequently to admirals and commanding officers, so I understand the CEO language and keeping it simple and specific. So I hadn't thought of asking for a phone number to talk to an actual person in this regard. When I did hit the report a problem on the where you go to selling and you can report a problem with a payment or whatever on that item that you sold, I went back and forth several times with that and didn't really get anywhere. Just the emails just stopped coming from them. So now that the magic form, I'm on this thread here, I'd say I've gone back and forth 4 times now.
Yeah, it's taken me sometimes up to 10 times just to get in. I've heard some people a little bit more and some less. I think it kind of has to do with how busy they are, but I could be wrong. Nancy, and then Sean. Go ahead, Nancy. You have to unmute yourself, sweetie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
You're
was
good.
clicking on the wrong icon.
You're still on recovery from vacation mode.
Well, yeah. Zoom is rusty. Anyhow, so I was just going to say that I'm pretty sure it was yesterday that Facebook support actually admitted that there is still issues with that. So
Yes.
they are aware and they're admitting it, and they're trying to get with the payment department or whatever. And it's when I was trying to update my address and I used the magic form, they through an email asked if they could call me. So they don't give a phone number for you to call them, but they might ask you for a phone number where they can call you. And that took a couple attempts. And it was interesting because it was nothing more than to confirm what the problem was. The person was not trying to solve the problem, just simply confirm what the problem was, that then escalated. It was a very unique customer service way they handled it. But anyhow, I just wanted to say that they've acknowledged that there is still problems with it. There apparently was a pretty large issue because they admitted that back on December 8th. And I don't think it was just limited to Facebook from what I understand. I've heard a couple other people say there was issues on other platforms. So I just thought I would throw it out that they do acknowledge that there's still people who have not, been fully paid for what that was. And so, and they're trying to get with the folks who hopefully can do something about it. But of course, obviously this time of year.
All payments are paid through PayPal, whether it goes directly to your bank account or to your PayPal account. So, but
True.
yes, thank you for that. Sean, did you have a comment?
I was just going to, and I don't know why this is, but it seems like the magic time as far as getting someone on the phone or whatever at like 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning Central Time seems like the best time. And I'd say 7 to 8 times out of 10, I actually get somebody in the UK, and they are a lot more helpful than other places. They'll get you on Blue Jean with them, where they're looking at your account, they're looking at your screen, and you can do a good walkthrough. But if you've got it, it won't work 100% of the time. But between like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning Central Time, the majority of the time, if I request a call on the live chat, I get it, and it's someone in the UK, and they actually spend a lot more time with you than the normal call. That was all.
Perfect. Now, the support for shop is different than the support for marketplace. The magic form, you can use it on both, I believe. Do you know that for sure, Sean? If you can use the magic form on a shop the same as the regular marketplace?
The magic form is commerce in general. You can use it for anything commerce related.
Right. And Tomas just said that he generally gets his emails between 1 and 2 in the morning. So I guess we can all set our alarms for between 1 and 2 a.m.
Yeah.
so that we can get response.
Can we just forward them to your email box?
We're up. That's
Yeah,
when we
sometimes.
work the most, is in the middle of the night. All right. Marilyn, you had a comment?
I have several payouts from Facebook Marketplace that don't have order numbers. They're just lump sum. How do you reconcile those?
Okay, Sean, I want you to answer that question because you've been helping with some people on that.
Well, there's not truly an answer to it. I've had to actually go through and cross it with people's actual PayPal deposits versus their Facebook report. I wish I had more of a solid answer, but what you'll notice is you'll go through and there'll be a payout schedule that'll show like 5 orders, and that total, let's just use $100 for a round number. But then it says payout $35. And it's like, it makes 0 sense. And there'll be a couple of those. And then there'll be one that you're referring to that has a lump amount and it has a transaction number, but it doesn't have any order numbers connected to it. I'm currently working with a client right now, and we are trying to get Facebook to supply some of this information. I mean, we're it's partially his fault. He didn't pay good attention to his books, and now it's cranked up to close to 200,000 that we're filtering through. So we're trying to, now they don't owe him all of that. I mean, I've found 10,000 that they definitely owe him, that they say they've paid him, but I'm trying to get an answer to that. And when we do get Facebook to confirm how it is that we can look it up, because once it leaves those little payout screens of the bulk payouts, there's no record on PayPal. There's nothing past there. So that is something I'm working on to try to figure out how to solve that, because everybody's in the same boat. Right now, the only thing that you can do, unfortunately, is go back and manually reconcile it and look at each order, and then versus what they actually paid out. Look at your PayPal, the dates, cross-reference those dates, because you'll also see that those amounts will vary. What Facebook says they paid and what PayPal received. And I pretty much recommend that everybody, just especially before, 2021 is officially closed out. I know it's a pain in the butt and it's going to take some time, but that's your money. And it'll be a lot harder to chase down after first of the year than it is now. So I'd say put on a good pot of coffee, some good music, and for 2 or 3 hours, you're going to have to dig through it and go. I'm fortunate because sometimes I think that my girlfriend wrote Excel because she's outstanding at it. So all I have to do is email the stuff to her, and 10 minutes later I get it back reconciled. So that's my secret weapon. But I know if I had to do it manually, I wouldn't have any hair left. But
well, I don't have
but
a
I am
cute
recommending
girlfriend like that, so.
Oh, now you don't need one. You have it all encompassing, Lisa.
I know.
But
It's all right
yeah,
here.
but especially with that hat, that hat really sets everything off. It's fantastic. I've got to order one of those, Marcus.
It's a
I
Mark's
think I'm gonna need
Mercantile
one.
if you want it. That's where I got it from.
Awesome.
I gotta make sure it's still on there.
Hey, I had to wear a hat. You weren't here when I was saying it, Sean, because you guys always have a hat on. So I wanted to be like you two. I want to say something that's probably not going to be popular, but you guys are responsible for your money. And don't leave it up to somebody else to reconcile and take care of your money. Don't make the assumptions that somebody else is taking care of it correctly. That's why we have our spreadsheets. That's why even if you're on a different platform and they have better spreadsheets or better, things to download, you still need to be the one to make sure that your money's right. Because at the end of the day, it's your money. It's not theirs. And you need to watch that. And the longer you keep it, where you haven't taken care of it, the harder it is to go back and get it, because now you're going way back. Tish, you had a question. Are you still there? Thank you for being patient.
Thank you. I hand reconcile mine. I used to not, but since I started doing Facebook, I do weekly, and I open it up and I check order number amount to order number on my spreadsheet versus what was paid. I never thought to add up the total amount on each one that the grand deposit was the right amount. Thank you. I will now start doing that moving forward. But I wanted to point out I had 2 payments that had no order numbers. They ended up being about 12 transactions each. If you use the magic form and say transaction number blah, ID number blah, I need the order numbers, it took me about 6 or 7 emails back and forth on each, but I did get order numbers and dollar amounts. But you have to ask the dollar amounts, because their dollar amounts, I literally have about 2 transactions a month where they randomly give me extra 25 cents, 30 cents. I've yet to be underpaid, but I randomly get extra 25 cents here, 50 cents here. So you definitely have to ask them for order numbers and dollar amounts, because it may not match up to what you have if you're keeping track on a spreadsheet or piece of paper or whatever.
Perfect. That was awesome. Thank you. There was somebody else who had their hand raised, but it's gone away. Do you know who it is, Marcus? Oh, Alex.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to make a comment as a macro suggestion to plant a seed for later. I know that in the past, collectively, I can go to a big organization like Google. Maybe this might work for Facebook, and say, hey, I represent X amount of dollars worth of buyers on the platform. Give me an account manager. Give me someone who I can talk to, because I represent this much and this is what it means to you. So that was the comment that I wanted to make. If that's something that has traction here in the community, we could easily figure out how much we represent an educated guest, and then hunt down someone or someones and say, hey, be our go-to liaison. We need a hookup. We won't bug you. We could do like what Tomas said. We'll hit you with the high level stuff. We just want to know that we can have that sense of peace of mind and confidence that whenever we need to call up the bat phone and ask a question, we got some solid answers, which would reinforce your product and services with our community as we continue to grow, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a good point.
Great suggestion.
I had actually been kicking that around a little bit, at 10,000 members strong, if you were to add up our totals, there's some leverage there. So it's a good idea. It's definitely something to kick around.
Yeah, I also wanted to, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to piggyback. I did it twice in my career and it worked. So if that means anything.
Okay.
Because it's hard to get a hold of a direct phone number, especially when I was doing paid search with Google years ago and when I was working in an agency, et cetera, et cetera. But once you get someone, man, I treat them like they're, super famous and respectful, because it's not easy to get someone to respond like that. Especially unless you're doing big numbers, then they want to be your friend. They hunt you down. They bug you. Let's have a consultation meeting. But vice versa, it's a little bit harder. So that was my 2 pennies thought.
So one thing I did want to thank you, Alex. One thing I did want to say also, we're at the end of the holiday season. You're going to see returns. You're going to see chargebacks and things like that. That's totally common. I expect that we're going to get posts that this person just charged back in this. You have to remember that we do have the seller protection plan. And just because somebody did a chargeback doesn't mean that you're not getting paid. So before you go crazy in the mind that you're not going to get your money, send them a nice note and say, hey, I noticed that this person, you know, requested a return. I'm not getting my stuff back or anything like that. Send the information in. A lot of times they send it back and say, well, actually you've been paid, or you are getting paid, and this is the date you're getting paid on, where you can go and reconcile that. If it says negative in that thing right there, but you've already been paid, then that means you got paid. So if you have questions about that, go back to them and have them explain that to you. Because if you're not seeing that you got paid on something, then go back to them and say, okay, you have it in writing now that you're getting paid, even though there was a return or a refund or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind, that don't panic when you see the negative and the amount. Just be proactive, go back in, ask the question. I see this is, you know, happened. Am I getting paid? How am I getting paid on it? I'm not showing my item being sent back. Okay. Shops are a little bit different on how they do refunds and chargebacks than the regular marketplaces. So if you're on shops, maybe that doesn't apply as much. It's a little bit more complicated on that end. One more quick thing that I forgot to say in the announcements. We do realize there's a huge need for consultation services. And so on the website, there's a spot where we are having our group experts and admins do consultations. Right now, I'm almost done setting up Marcus's consultation. I have Sean's done. So if you do need a shop consultation, you can go to Sean's bio, which is the most hilarious bio ever, and you can schedule a consultation if you want to be entertained that way. He's a kid. I know I'm talking about you in front of your face like that. All right, I got a couple of questions that I wanted to answer. These are the questions. Marketplace categories that do well.
Alex had a question or comment.
Oh, Tomas? Who?
No, Alex has.
Alex. Okay, go ahead, Alex.
I appreciate that. In the spirit of proactivity, especially if you sell fragile items, but this is across the board, my disclaimer is that what I'm about to say is a little bit tedious, but because I sell the premium Dorito in the jar, it's considered a fragile item, and I open myself up to increase chargeback potential complaints. So in the spirit of proactivity, I follow up knowing sometimes bite my nails like, uh-oh, what are they going to say? Because they can easily mess with me because it's a fun gag gift kind of product at my expense to do chargebacks and things. And I've had someone do that already. I follow up and I say, how's that package? How was your experience? So if I catch them within the short window between when USPS tells me it's going to arrive and a day or two after they receive it, I can potentially cut off a permanently disgruntled customer post-purchase. In fact, that's a growing part of the industry. There's businesses that sell software that specialize in trying to utilize that window of time to prevent chargebacks, and then they get their kickback from you as a consumer for that business, that little niche business. And so I do that manually. When I do retail drop shipping from Amazon onto the marketplace, I make a little note in the gift receipt box on the checkout page, and then I go in and I check up on someone. If I get the vibe or the sense when I spot check, I think this person needs a little bit more hand holding. Is it a little bit more manual? Yes. Could it be automated? Yes. Is it a little bit more time consuming? Yes. Is it inconvenient? Yes. Is that worth putting in that type of energy and intent and planning it into your best practices? Oh, capital YES, it is. And that's why people, at least with me, whether it's with my fragile product, the Dorito in the jar, or the other items that I sell, in this particular case, I'll give an example, home furnishings, closets and shelves. Those things can be fragile. and they have many pieces. Well, when you're doing retail drop shipping, sometimes the items come a little banged up in the packaging. Can you all relate to that, right? So I'm sitting there having to middleman this, and it's part of the experience. So I follow up by being proactive and say, how's it going, whatever. And then I've saved a few dollars, believe it or not, and a headache of the chargeback. And, Facebook is not that good all the time with the money. So I'm like, let me keep Facebook out of it. Let me hit the source, deal with that person, he or she. And about 7, 8 out of 10, it usually works for me. There's times where people are just unhappy, and that's just part of life. But I've been able to be proactive and prevent some real disgruntled people. And you know what? One person gave me a 5-star rating, even though the experience of the product delivery and all that was bad, but my customer service was so awesome, they felt better. So it sort of offset the bad taste in their mouth from the bad product experience. So they gave me a 5-star rating. I was like, I thought that was super dope. So
That's great.
yeah, social proof
Congratulations.
for proactivity.
So one other thing just to note, not everybody's a scammer. If they had a problem receiving your item, it doesn't mean they were a scammer. So just keep that in mind, and don't send screenshots, please, of people's names, because we are having to take them down. Facebook is really cracking down on privacy and ways that people say things, and so we're having to be more strict about that because of that. So we had a couple of questions that people had in the announcement, and I wanted to kind of go over those. And some of them were marketplace categories that do well, where to do research analysis, mastering keywords, and shop approval. So I'm going to do marketplace categories that do well. We kind of touched on where to do research analysis last week. So if you could just sum that up a little bit, Marcus. Mastering keywords, Sean, I want you to touch on that, and shop approval. Does that sound good, guys?
Sure.
All right. Marketplace categories that do well. Now, I'm just going to say this, and I'll get you guys' feedback on it. But things that aren't saturated in the market do better than not. So, for example, golf equipment. Most people don't know anything about golf equipment and how that works. A good putter versus a driver, and what's good and what's not good. That's something that's always going to do good in the market. I know hats do good in the market. So anytime you put something up there and it says there's a large demand for this, that's doing good, and it's trending well in the market. The other thing you can do is go to Google, and you can type something in, and it will show you if it's trending or not trending. So those are some different ways and stuff that you can find what categories do well. And some things do well in some times of year where others not so much. But I would say the biggest things that do well all year round are things that aren't saturated, that people don't know a ton about. So like maybe Nate's art that he does, where he does the sandblasting, that's probably not a huge saturated item in the market. I mean, I don't have a sandblasting machine, and I can't make amazing art like that, but he can. And so they're not going to have stickers. Maybe stickers is not a niche you want to get into because it's so saturated. Anyway, those are some of my examples. If anybody has anything they want to add to that, feel free.
And marketplace on your phone specifically, not so much on the desktop app, but on your phone will give you some suggestions of what's trending.
Right, that's true.
You're scrolling through. I was just looking, and it's every time I go into marketplace, it looks a little bit different. And so another way to do that too is Amazon, Walmart. So they're going to tell you what's trending. Oh, my Amazon is talking to me. It's telling me about Walmart, their marketplace. Right on their front page, they'll show you that's what in the drop shipping world, that's what we go to look to see what's selling well. really at the end of the day, and I know nobody here asked that question. We're talking to the folks that are, that put them up before. Really at the end of the day, my opinion is you can sell what you're passionate about. So not necessarily the category, but if you have no idea where you want to start with what you like and what you know, because that passion will come through in your descriptions. It'll come through in your titles. It'll come through in your one-on-one conversations when you're messaging with folks. But
and your desire and your drive.
Yeah.
Kelly, Kelly sells oils. I know you guys don't know this. I'm sorry, Kelly. I'm going to tattle on you a little bit. But Kelly sells doTERRA oils, and she does that full time. And then she also sells on Marketplace as a side hobby and stuff, and sells antiques and everything. But the drive and the belief system that she has in the products that she sells helps her to sell what it is that she has, because she believes in it. And so whether it's saturated or not doesn't matter to her, because she's all in. Am I making sense, Kelly? You're muted.
She's muted, but not on my end.
You're muted, Kelly. You need to unmute yourself.
Kelly's been having trouble with her mute button. I muted her manually because she had some background noise, but she's having trouble with her mute button. So you can speak for her.
Yeah, well, I'm speaking for Kelly today.
I'm unmuted now. I don't know why I couldn't get it to work. And Marcus, thank you for muting me earlier. I was trying and I couldn't get it to mute.
You got a dog problem like me.
I know. You saw how fast I jumped up. I'm like, mute button not working, got to jump up. I wanted to say, I appreciate so much what you guys are saying about you have to believe in your product, because it just bleeds over into everything that you do. And like golf for me, I'm just going to tell you, I know nothing about it. I have zero interest in it. So if it were the number one thing selling with the best margins, I still would never list anything golfing. So I think it is so important to stay true to what you are, because it's so easy to get off track when you think you're following the money, But yeah, with the oils, of course, that's absolutely full on belief. Thank you for that, Lisa. I appreciate you tooting the horn there. I did have a question I wanted to ask. Today's picks. Okay, when you're on your marketplace and you're shopping as a buyer and you've got today's picks, does anybody know if that is trending items or is Facebook thinking for me based off what I'm shopping? Does anybody actually know the answer to that?
I don't know the answer, as in I haven't seen it like written in all the stuff that I read.
Okay.
I feel that it's based on because I look for lots of different stuff because I drop ship. So I am looking for what sells well. Right, I'm not tied to one particular thing. So if I'm really going down the route of car safety, then all of a sudden my marketplace is all about car safety.
Gotcha.
But again, that's just anecdotal. So
yeah, I always wonder how to get your thing on today's picks.
Yeah.
What it is that's actually happening there, and I just wanted to ask if anyone knew for sure. But that, Marcus, I'm thinking you're correct as I'm paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on that, Sean?
He might not be.
I figured out why I couldn't. I had enlarged the screen and it was covering up my unmute button, and the little one didn't work. So, that's the tech tip of the day. If you enlarge your screen, it covers your unmute button.
We'll just have to get you some new glasses. You could have cute ones like me.
There you go. I personally, I don't give a whole lot of faith to those automatically generated. Mine. Whenever I log on to Marketplace, my hot items have been women's clothing and shelves for about 2 months now. So I just don't give it a whole lot of thought, to be honest. When it comes to like you were saying, keywords and things like that, to really get into the flow, I've really started focusing on not really what the what'll trigger the buyer first. I want to tickle the algorithm first,
Mm-hmm.
and then appeal to the buyer. If the algorithm doesn't like your listing, the buyer doesn't even get a chance to see it.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many sellers that are being added to the mix and so many listings, and there's only so much time that someone's going to be online. The way Facebook, everything is getting more and more dynamic, that SEO is making more and more of a difference. I shared with Lisa, I did 10 listings and looked at them from an SEO standpoint, the way the algorithm would see them, not the way a buyer would see them. All 10 of those items sold. No, I didn't, no adjectives in the title at all. No emojis. Even in my description, no emojis. The title, less than 65 characters or less. Keep it to the point. And some of these are actual Facebook suggestions. But, you know, I'm narrowing it down, and I have a little bullet point list that I put in that has the measurements, the weight, who made it, what the price, yada, yada, that I put into my description. And after that, I actually just use a copy and paste that just basically says, thanks for looking. If you have any questions, here's my phone number. Call me. You know, I've just kept it so simple. My listings have my phone number on them. I don't care. You know, somebody steals my identity, I'll get an apology card in the mail with maybe $20 in it, you know. But anyhow, that automated stuff from Facebook, I just really stopped paying any attention to it, and I've just gone by way of instead of looking for keywords or whatever, I'm really trying to describe that item in the least amount of words that I can and still hit all the high points. And then when I look at my picture, I just make sure that it's obvious, even to a bot, that it can recognize what that is.
And when you say that, you mean like it doesn't say that it's a medical device, or it doesn't come back and it says, you know, all those other strange things or it gives you different suggestions of categories that it should be in, where it shouldn't be in, right?
Exactly, because you can't outsmart it even when it's being stupid. Okay. If it feels that picture is a picture of X, you can tell it that it's Y all day long. And as soon as you turn your back, it's going to list it with X, because it automatically thinks that it knows more than you.
Right.
So if you're listing something and those little suggestions it's putting down there are just completely off base, there's something about your listing that's telling the AI that that's what it is. It could be something like taking a picture of a bowl, for instance, that's at the wrong angle and it looks like a plate. You want to catch the reason why it actually recommends the white background and everything is because it gives it that silhouette. I mean, kind of think about it like those little psychiatry things where, look at this shape, tell me what it looks like to you.
The ink blot.
Yes. So just kind of think of it like that. And then you also have to think of the speed that these things are happening. I mean, you've got millions and millions and millions of listings and they're just flying by. So you have to make it to where that thing doesn't have to think about it, because if it has to think about it, it puts it off over in this, what the heck is that category? Mm-hmm. And you have a listing that doesn't get views, it doesn't get anything, because the system is moving at such a fast pace. If you don't catch the stream, you're done. I mean, you'll never get back into it unless you make it where your listing flows. You want it in the right category, that's true. But the search engine is where it's really at, because like Lisa, you were talking about the today's picks and everything. Well, promoted items, boosted items, things like that obviously are going to take the center point there. Next level down is going to be the listings that are SEO done well. And if you don't think that that's important, you just need to look at every company out there has very high paid people that do that. Walmart has them. Every company has them. And all they do is look at that product and they build a listing for the SEO. That's what it comes down to, because it's not like the old days on eBay to where we used to put stuff like, we had actually 3 words of what the product was, and then we're sitting there asking our significant other or our kids, hey, what's another word for, and we've got, 100 different random words stacked up in the title. Now you have to be more specific because these bots now can think. So just tell it exactly what it is and don't ramble. Make things for the SEO first, the buyer second, and yourself last. We're not making trophies to ourselves. It's not a competition for a short story in the description. So just SEO first, buyer second, your personal last. That's all. That's my thoughts on it.
I love that so much. Let me ask you one more question on that. So do you think 10 photos, for example, on Marketplace, I don't know how many you can do in a shop, but do you think too many photos? Because aren't the bots having to look through each photo as well? I mean, all information in has to be assessed by, assessed, right? So do you think fewer photos is better?
The main photo is what gets really scrutinized.
Okay.
The other photos just kind of get scanned because it's the same thing that's in it. They also look for, I don't know if you guys know about the 20% rule of if you put a photograph on Facebook and you add text to it, make sure that text doesn't exceed 20% of the overall photograph. It will flag it. If it doesn't restrict it, it'll bury the listing. Facebook doesn't like that because people can sneak in links or information that's not allowed. So, but to answer your question, Kelly, it's kind of weird because on Facebook itself, I could screenshot you one article that says use one picture, and then I can go to a completely different article, both articles put out by Facebook, that says to use all 10.
Okay.
So it's totally up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Alex had a quick note. Alex has his hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Alex.
I think we ran out of time. It was just going to be some suggestions for product research. So we could pick it up on the next meeting if.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
We missed a couple of questions from the group, and I figured we could, we can type out some answers to it. So.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I feel like this has been extremely productive. If anything, we all know how to ask for our money back, right?
That's a big deal.
That's right.
It is.
We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place.
All right.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.